haven't filmed anything in a while because I was very busy doing that. It's kind of started looking like a bike already. When I took apart the engine, split it, and to reseal two engine cases because there's no like proper gasket. There's like a sealant. So over the years it can start leaking. So I thought after all this work that I've done to it, I think it will be worth just to do it for the peace of mind. But then when I put it all together, I wanted just to try the starter. So obviously everybody who works on the Virago knows about the starter issue. It didn't work, so I thought I was done with all the different like tries and attempts and tricks that you can do to the old one. I decided to go to the second gen Virago setup and trying to look for information. There's some of it, some on YouTube, some on some forums and stuff, but I thought I'd just make a video to put everything in one place, especially when I had a amazing help along the way, so I'll just tell you a bit about it. But yeah, let me just show you first what you're gonna need. So first of all, that's the cover that you have on the 920 on 750 first gen, and that's the holy grail of covers, and I will tell you a bit later why exactly that is. But basically you need that bit having here, which takes the solenoid. So the parts you need for that upgrade first is the cover, then you need that bit which is the solenoid, which just pulls in that gear that usually is problematic. And then speaking of the gear, the one that you will have that tiny groove, because normally you would just take that clip, so you need a different gear that have that bigger groove, because that's another part that you need, is that fork, because that would sit in that groove and that will pull it towards the flywheel. So that's also like the newer upgraded one, because you see that there's a difference between those two like swivels. So this is supposed to have more motion of like going out with a slower speed, so the engagement is supposed to be better and less brutal. So if you need to get it, well, you need to get this anyway, so if you get it, you might as well just get the upgraded one, which is I believe the XV 1100. Then that shaft remains the same, that gear remains the same, washer remains the same. Another thing you need, because my starter is already installed, but the starter is also different. It has a longer shaft at the front, and it's longer because it needs to do that clutch. So it's like a one-way clutch, spins one way, one spins the other, so that helps that system as well. So these are the parts you need. Everything is pretty straightforward. I think when you're getting the bits, it's worth to find all of it in one place, preferably, because like this bolt, I saw someone selling that on eBay for like 18 bucks, just this bolt, because it's quite special, because that is like a pivot bolt here that goes through here under the cover, and that is holding that that arm, allowing it to work. Another thing, and that's wiring the solenoid, which I would add a link to a video of a channel, Steve's DIY. Steve is an amazing guy. He helped me so much. I had a problem wiring, because that's the thing. I was checking some videos on YouTube, and there was like, yeah, very easy. I just put two wires, jump this one. And probably someone who's better at electric stuff will be easy, but for me, basically I put it all together and it still didn't work. It was like going in, out, but I'll add a link to Steve's video, because yeah, I asked him for help, because he is the person that generally works on cars, motorcycles too, but when it comes to Viragos, definitely he has so much knowledge and experience that I thought if someone will know what is the issue, he will be the one. And he pulled out some of his parts and just recreated exactly the situation that I had and showed me how to solve the problem, and now this is working, so that's great. But long story short, I just connected these two main positive wires the wrong way. So the short one is going to the starter, the long one is going to the battery, and then you have that small terminal, which basically the best way is to watch Steve's video on that, so you have the full knowledge. But I think that can just either go to the starter solenoid if the long one is going to the battery. But I think in theory, and that's what the guys meant while they were talking about jumping one wire, you can, in theory, but I haven't tried it yet, get the long one, the big positive wire, to your original starter solenoid from Gen 1, and then just jump the small one to the same terminal and run the short straight to your starter, and that should work too. I will try it and maybe I'll update it. And then the flywheel, because even though now the system works when that just like pulls in the gear, the fork goes in, and when that engages, it stays in, turns over beautifully, doesn't like come out, and it's all great. But every now and then, every like say 5th try, it will still grind while I was trying to hit the starter. So I took the flywheel out again, and it's pretty worn out, so I'm just getting a new one. So yeah, that's the long story about the parts you need. And now, very important thing worth mentioning is the cover scenario, because there are many different covers that kind of look the same, but they are different. And let me just reorganize that and I'll show you what are the differences between the covers and why this one is a holy grail and this is the one to get. So let me just change the setup here and I'll be right back. Okay, the covers. So that is what you have if you have the first gen, that cover. So the easy part, easy to notice, it doesn't have the bit for the solenoid, so like these ones here have. Also the surface for the gasket is exactly the same, so all of them will fit on the bike. And well, let's start that every single one of them will work, but some of them will need some adjustment. Okay, so the difference between them is here. It's how deep the alternator, so the stator, however you call it, and the receiving coil sits inside. So let me just show you, just roughly put it in. Okay, so this is your original setup. So if you take the measurement with the calipers, I'm just going to do it roughly, because if you need to do it, you just need to take your measurements. But basically, I'm measuring the distance between the mating cover, the surface, where the gasket is, to the stator, and then to the receiving coil. That distance is important because the flywheel will go in like over the alternator and inside of the receiving coil, because that is producing power for your bike, and the receiving coil will pick up the signal every time rotation of the wheel, the flywheel, that pickup coil plate, let's call it, is here. That's sending the signal to your TCI, and that is letting your bike when to spark. So that distance is very important. That's all designed to work together with your flywheel. And this is the only difference between the covers. And the cover that is currently on the bike, it's the cover from 1100. In which case, both the depth of the stator and the receiving coil are different. They sit deeper. So like I said, you can get it to work, but you will have to make a spacer for this. So I was thinking, because I was close to like making it, make like a kind of a washer spacer here, and then like another one inside that would sit on top of that, and then I would space this out, and then this, like, I don't know, collars, cylinders, however you call it, they would need to be extended. Because so yeah, on this cover, 1100 cover, both of them are deeper. Now this is a better option. That is an XV 700, but I believe, but you need to check that for sure. But definitely, this is 1987, so this one for sure works, and I think 86 works too. But saying works, I mean it works half. So the stator, the alternator, the distance between the original one and this one is the same, so that works without any problems. But even if you look, let me put that in briefly, if you look at that receiving coil, you can even now visually see that this one sits much deeper than that one. So XV700 86, 87 is a better choice than 1100 for sure, because you only need to work on that receiver coil part, and just makes, I think, easier spacers. So that's that, and then if you get it with that cover, it's okay. But just to note that if you will like source one without this piece covering the side glass for timing, then these are not exchangeable. They are different. You see the holes are more spread apart, these are more in, so that's different. And now this is the holy grail, because that is basically 1-to-1 conversion. If you move this around, basically this cover is the same thing. So you see those cylinders are exactly the same, so I measured the height is exactly the same, inside is the same, everything works. The problem with that cover is, well, let's first say what is it. It's an XV1000, which is very, very rare. I believe it's, well, I'm pretty sure it's 84 and 85 only, XV1000. And it's very, very, very hard to find one. So you see, I got one, I live in California now, and I found one in Poland, my home country, so I had to travel all over the world to get here because I couldn't find one anywhere closer. Also, you see how rough it is, but I said, well, I'll just take it, and I'm gonna fix it and make it look nice. But yeah, I'll just do that because they're so hard to find. But yeah, that works 1-to-1 without any issues with the alternator and the coil, and also this front cover, that's exchangeable. So luckily I had that already powder coated, so that will just go straight in. I just need to work on the cover. And also, when you get in the cover, that little guy on these will be slightly different, but the same for like 700, 1100, and I think all the others. The only difference with that piece is that mounting bolt. All the other ones have that mounting bolt in the front. This one has one at the funny angle that works for this cover. So if you get that piece from a different one, it's not going to work unless you cut it, re-weld it, and reposition that. Then if you want to play with that, then you can do that, but otherwise it's just not the same, which is a pain, because often, well, I say often, that was just one that I found, but even when I found this, I had to get this guy separately, because they, yeah, well, if you can find it all together as a set, great, then you're winning, but otherwise this little guy is also very, very hard to find. So yeah, I hope that video is helpful, because I think that's like a lot of information about this conversion all in one place. So yeah, I think that'll be useful for someone. Definitely for me, as you can see, it's try and error, because now I ended up like 5 covers because I have another one somewhere else. But eventually, yeah, I know which one to get and what's good, so this video can save you the hassle. And again, thank you very much to Steve. He's a really great guy, and he helped me a lot getting it to work, because I was just pulling my hair thinking, what am I doing wrong again? So much work, so many parts, and still not working. But yeah, eventually to now it was quite simple, and now it works. So I just need to get the new flywheel, get that painted on a bike, and then we can yeah, progress and yeah, hopefully see it running soon. Alright, thanks for watching.